Hello, and thank you for listening to this episode of the Moore's October Rants. Today is going to be another short rant. I wanted to discuss something that I know I made a video about before. It's called, in the grand scheme, No One Really Cares, or No One Really Cares. It was talking about how in life people don't really care, so you just have to do what you want because everyone does. And I want to make a topic that's similar to that, or that's going to touch on kind of the same stuff, but I made that topic, I think, a couple months ago, or maybe 2 months ago, and I wanted to, expand on it, but I'm going to make another video. So if you haven't seen that video, you can watch it. It's called Nobody Really Cares, or something like that. But if you haven't watched it, then this is a good video, because I'm going to give you kind of a preview of what you can watch in that episode. But, because as I make these episodes, my, opinions will definitely change, and I'm always growing as a person. So I want to talk about that. And basically, I was watching a video today, and this guy was talking about how in society, it's really becoming, a free-for-all. And people are just doing what they want to do. That's literally what a free-for-all is. It's like when you play Call of Duty, there's a game mode called free-for-all where it's every man for themselves. And everyone's attacking everybody. And, thinking of life as a free-for-all is a very cynical position. But it's become a position which I have really realized that sometimes people say cynical behavior and cynicism is not a good way to be, but I feel like it's the most realistic way to be, because when you get down to it, life really is a free-for-all. Everyone at the end of the day is going to do what they want to do. Everyone is really motivated by their own self-interest. So people are going to do what best fits their survival, and people are going to do what makes them happy. And a lot of the time, people don't really care about your plans, your dreams. People are living their lives, and, people will care, but, a lot of the time, people are worried about their own self-interest and what works for them and what's best for them. So that's why I said in that other video, it's so important just to do what you want to do with your life, because you only have one life, and no one really does care. It is a free-for-all. And, a lot of people love to say how that's so negative, but tell me one reason why it's bad to think like that. Preparing yourself for the worst that humanity is really good, because when you encounter it, you'll be prepared and you'll know what to do, and you're more, prepared to deal with it. If you encounter behavior that you've never seen before, you don't know how you're going to react to it. So knowing that it exists and processing it and knowing that it's going to be out there in the world is way better. And, I've always wondered about cynicism and, what it's like to be cynical, and if I should ever be that way and adapt that mindset. And I always try to stay as positive as possible. But, you can still be positive, but think cynically, George Carlin once said, don't mix up my ideas as cynicism. The real cynics are the ones that tell you everything is going to be all right. And he's right. The people that tell you everything is okay, the bad guys always lose, the good guys always win, justice is free, the press is blind. All these things that we're taught as children aren't really true, because sometimes the good guys lose. The good guys don't always win in the end. Life is not a movie with an action hero and how they always beat the bad guy at the end. Sometimes the good guys win. And, it's very cynical to think that way, but, it really, getting back to the main topic, it really is a free-for-all in this world, and you have to be prepared for that possibility that you're going to have to fight and scratch and claw to get to the top of the mountain of where you want to be, because every day is literally, it could be the last day of your life. So You know, and I'm not trying to blame humanity for caring about itself and doing what it wants to do, because that's just ingrained in our brains, you know? When we're doing something, we're not thinking about the world and what they want. We're thinking about ourselves. So it's not like George Carlin, like I like quoting him because he says a lot of things that I agree with. He says, I like explaining how things are, not how they ought to be. And that's true. I'm just explaining the nature of people. And, you know, nature is. It's not beautiful. It's not gross or evil. It just is. And people are just are, you know? A lot of people are like that. And me complaining about it and saying I wish that it was different and I wish people weren't like that, you know, that's not really going to change anything, because that's just who we are as a society. So like I said, being aware of that and planning and knowing people are like that, you're more likely to be more successful in life when it comes to managing your emotions and dealing with disappointments, because people are self-motivated and life really is a free-for-all. And the guy in the beginning, I said his video, he talked about free-for-alls, and he said that you can't really rely on your family anymore. A lot of people can't. A lot of people can't even rely on their friends. You can't really date any of these women. You can't rely on them. They're fucking batshit crazy. And women probably have the same experience with guys, you know. Women will tell you all the time how guys are really impossible to date. But I'm coming at this from the perspective of a male who is attracted to females. I can't tell you about dating men because I'm a male and I like females, but you know, I'm pretty sure the ladies have to deal with bullshit as well. So it's vice versa. If I was into, you know, men, I'd probably say the same, but I'm into women, so I'm going to focus on that. But, you know, life has its complications, and it's really hard for a lot of people. And it really is a free-for-all at the end of the day, because you got to do what's best for you and no one else gives a fuck. But anyways, that's just another short rant. I don't want to make it too long. It's 7 minutes. Usually my rants are like 15 minutes. But thank you so much for listening, guys, and I really hope that you enjoyed this episode. I know it's kind of like a repeat, and I kind of rehashed a lot of the same stuff I did in the other video, but, you know, it's a clean perspective. And the last video about talking about how no one cares, I didn't really explain, you know, cynicism and being cynical and stuff like that. I don't think so. You know, it's nice to give a little bit of an update on how I feel about this. So I'm really happy with how this came out, and I really like this. You know, this was really fun to make. I like talking about this stuff because, you know, a lot of the time people like to ignore these topics and don't like to talk about it. But, you know, I'm not going to be one of those people that's shamed and doesn't talk about certain topics. I feel like talking about certain topics is very important regardless of how people feel. You know, I'm not going to be shamed into not talking about a topic. If I get a comment and it's somebody telling me that it's something that they don't think I should talk about, then I'm going to keep talking about it. I don't care if I had 500,000 people telling me I shouldn't talk about something. You know, I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about, and you shouldn't let people shame you and they're not speaking about stuff. But that's a whole nother episode I'll probably make a video on, about how you have to talk about what you want to talk about, and you shouldn't let people shame you. But, you know, like I said, that's a whole nother episode. So, again, thank you so much for listening, and I hope you guys have a great one, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much. This is Moore's October signing out.